Well, hello, welcome to ILoveGay today. And as you can tell, it's Valentine's Day today. And we are here with a guest from Brooklyn, New York. We're here with Cason Crane. How are you?
I'm great. I have a date with my husband planned tonight, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
And he sent me some beautiful flowers, which is very sweet. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Isn't it nice to be spoiled?
Yes,
We
I feel very spoiled. Hopefully, I can spoil him. I mean, I woke up, got the flowers. He got to work so early this morning, so
uh,
I've got some surprises for him later today. So,
my husband's got to go out of town for the next few days, so we went last night. And so we had
oh,
and it was it was an amazing evening, and it was traipsing through all the snow that had just fallen for both of us because we're both in the Northeast and we got dumped on, and for me it's being from LA, it was still magical.
oh, that's so nice. That's wonderful.
But let's talk about you. And no, I find it amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed. First of all, you came highly recommended from several folks that I know, that I've interviewed here in the past and so forth. And but they've all loved your story and how you tell it. But you're, as a business, you're an entrepreneur. You have a business called Explorer Cold Brew, and let's start with that and
Yes.
just tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, I think owning a small business is one of the most challenging and rewarding things that anyone can do. And I feel very lucky to have the opportunity to take on that challenge in my life. I started Explorer 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments, when you think of like the light bulb moment, that's actually what it was for me. I remember it was early COVID. I was in my apartment in Brooklyn with my husband, and he was like, Kason, you've got to switch to decaf. Like you are keeping me up all night, tossing and turning. No more caffeine, no more cold brew for you in the afternoon. If you want to drink cold brew, which I know you love, find a decaf.
Yeah.
And so I searched on Amazon. I was like, decaf cold brew, and it didn't exist. Nobody was making products for the caffeine conscious consumer.
Yeah.
And I'm not a decaf only person, but I was like, surely, we should be able to choose our caffeine level for the time of day or for our own bodies. Everyone has a different sensitivity to it. And that didn't exist. It wasn't an option. It was sort of one size fits all. So I was like, I'm going to do this. And I had long been a lover of coffee and as a millennial, cold brew has a
Yeah.
special place in my heart. And that was 3 years ago. And I created with some of the world's most renowned coffee experts, also stuck in their houses or apartments around the world, took advantage of that silver lining and crafted an incredible premium organic and fair trade product. You can see behind me. I
Yeah.
obviously have my own stash here in four different caffeine levels, ranging from 99.9% caffeine free for those afternoons or evenings, or those pregnant moms or whoever it is,
Yeah.
all the way up to 300 milligrams per serving. So it's a full range.
Yeah.
And, we've done almost 5 million in sales in 3 years. And we're online, we're on Amazon, we're on Shopify. Now we're in grocery stores. We're in 500 grocery stores across the country, and planning to double that in the next few months. So it's been a crazy journey, and there have been lots of challenges too. So it's not all good. There have been plenty. I mean, there have been days when I have truly like not been able to get out of bed. I feel so overwhelmed, or I get a setback, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I can get past this.
Wow, I'm intrigued because this is we're a coffee house here, and I've actually got three machines that including a bean grinding whole setup, and so folks love to come over whenever we're making coffee, and we both work from home, so
Oh,
this whole cold brew in the afternoon, it's resonating, so I may have to try this.
and I will say, last night I had a Valentine's Day Eve event where we made a bunch of Explorer Cold Brew coffee cocktails.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there is so much more than the espresso martini. Like Explorer is such a great base for a whole wide range of coffee cocktails. So if you're a cocktail lover, or you can even do it as a mocktail, I can send you some recipes. There's some really awesome ones.
I'm even more intrigued. My husband is a espresso martini lover, and he's been making those every time folks come over as well. So you've got us on both fronts. So I'm truly, I think we're
Well,
going to
I hope
follow up on
that
these.
yes, definitely. I'm going to send you some recipes, some of our product, and I can't wait. It's also great when you're hosting. Otherwise, you have to like pull an espresso shot, pull an espresso. It's like you're just spending so much time on it, and you're spending less time drinking and socializing. So
Well put. Well put. Um, no, and no, but it's interesting also. You're talking about being an entrepreneur and the business side, but you're very active with the, especially even in the LGBT space, with some of the business chambers, and so you're certified with the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber and the Canadian uh, 2S LGBTQI plus. See, I got that right. Chamber of Commerce.
well, I mean, I think that I made a decision early on to be a certified LGBT business enterprise, and because we are LGBT owned and operated, and I thought, why not get that certification to, help. I think more businesses should do that, and also to as a way to network with other LGBT businesses. So I think it's a no-brainer, and I always recommend. There's a wide range. There's bigger businesses, medium-sized businesses, small businesses, solopreneur, freelancers even are part of that network. And I highly recommend that folks register and get the certification.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met some awesome people.
That's what I feel. Me too. And I've been to the national conference many years in a row. And but on a local level, I've actually, since we're both in the same general area, I've been involved with the New York NGLCC, but also the New Jersey and Philly chambers there also. So we're kind of like
Oh,
surrounded by some
cool.
really strong LGBT chambers.
I haven't been to any New Jersey or Philly events, just New York events, but
Yeah.
I'm always meeting new people and having really productive conversations. And you just never know when you're going to go and meet someone who, you're going to click with from a business, standpoint or personal standpoint, or you can help each other out. Whether like I met a lawyer last time who actually ended up being really giving me some very good legal advice,
Yeah.
for the business and stuff we were working on that we're just helping each other out, and it all comes out in the end. We all end up benefiting in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. And but what's interesting is that the name of your business, Explorer Cold Brew. You're the explorer in chief. But even from your website, but you've got quite a backstory when it comes to all that, and even how you discovered coffee in your life.
Yeah, I mean, so the Explorer name really has two meanings. For me personally, I've always felt a bit of like an explorer, being explorer sort of part of my DNA. My mother, from an early age, instilled in me and my siblings this crazy passion to explore the world, to push our bodies physically, mentally. So, I mean, I did my first half Iron Man triathlon when I was 12 years old. Traveled to over 100 countries around the world, including places like North Korea and Iran. So that was the way my parents chose to, invest in their kids. I was very lucky to have all these crazy opportunities, and I've tried to make the most of them. And throughout that, coffee was always my adventure fuel, whether it was whether it was taking on an Ironman or an endurance race or just traveling around the world. And so the first side is personal, but the second side is that, I want this coffee to not just fuel my day, but to fuel whatever adventures and explorations that our customers are taking on in their lives, which doesn't have to be an Ironman like it might be for me, or traveling to a different country. It could just be learning a new hobby, or just getting out of bed and taking on another day at work, or another day, in the life. So there's a whole lot of ways that you can be an explorer in your own life. But our coffee, I'd like to believe that it's that fuel for you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
And then, but in addition, you left out that you climbed Mount Everest and the Seven Summits.
I did. I did. It's not that I, no, I mean, it's not like I don't like talking about Everest and the Seven Summits. I mean, the Seven Summits is, for those who don't know, it's the highest mountain on each of the seven continents.
Yep.
So it's Everest, Denali in Alaska, which is actually a really challenging, very physically demanding peak. Elbrus in Russia, Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Vinson in Antarctica, and Karsten's Pyramid it's in eastern Indonesia in the
Yeah.
Australasia continent, and then obviously Everest. Oh, and Aconcagua in South America.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it was an incredible experience. Climbing Everest was like a dream. It's like a dream come true, which is a weird thing to say because it's also very hard. It's this challenging physical feat, but it's also every moment that you're on the mountain, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm climbing Mount Everest right now. And it has this surreal feeling. And actually, it was in May. It'll be 11 years since I climbed Everest. I climbed it when I was 20 years old,
Okay.
and I brought the pride flag up. To my knowledge, the first time it had been brought up to the summit,
Yeah.
in history, which is very cool. And I hope that since then it's been carried up there many times, and will be many, many more times in the future.
Yeah, I actually interviewed someone a few years, maybe only like 2 years ago, but he has a tour company based out of, I believe, Nepal or that area, and it's all about bringing people at the seven summits. It was the whole thing about making this like a global achievement for folks, and it sounds like you would identify with him very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think climbing, it's just such an amazing way. Mountaineering is an amazing way to experience nature, to push yourself, to operate as a team. I mean, I mean, I, every like, well, there are solo climbers. I personally wouldn't recommend that. Obviously, it's less safe, but also there's a lot of joy and mutual support you can get. Could just always think back to the amazing experiences I had and the gratitude I have to my Sherpa, Forba Tenzing, who I climbed Everest with, and just an incredible guy. And we bonded so much. And so if you're thinking about it, I recommend going out there. It's an incredible bonding experience, and you'll create unforgettable memories
Yeah.
in so many ways.
But now, has that allowed you to segue into being on Peacock television with Race to Survive?
Yeah, it's funny. That is actually how I ended up getting cast on Race to Survive Alaska, the
Yeah.
first season one,
Yeah.
which aired on Peacock. It's aired on the USA Network, and it's on Peacock now, so you can
Okay.
stream it. What it was a crazy, I'll say, a first season of any show. I didn't realize this. I've never done television before, and I never looked to do reality TV. It wasn't something I was seeking out. The casting people reached out to me on Instagram because of my climbing Everest with the pride flag. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this will be a crazy experience. It was teams of two. My sister, all my siblings are similarly inclined, but I thought, oh, my sister and I could just be another great bonding experience. But you don't know what the challenge is. This is something that I don't think people appreciate. We did not know what we were getting ourselves into in detail or in specifics until they started filming.
Yeah.
So if when you start watching in those first few minutes, and we're on these boats to the start in Alaska off the coast in early summer, we still did not know when we were on those boats what the actual challenge was going to be. I wish they actually communicated that better to the viewer, but it was a crazy experience. There's not a single adventure show like it out there, because it combines the survival aspects of like naked and afraid or alone, and the racing aspects of like an amazing race in a really unique way. And yeah, I can't say that I enjoyed my days out there. Turns out starvation is a pretty miserable feeling,
Yeah.
but I'm very grateful for the time. And my sister and I mean, that was a bonding experience. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to watch it this month.
Great. Yeah. Let me know what you think.
I will.
Um, and I have to say, keep in mind, because one thing that sometimes, I have climbed Everest, I did the seven summits, I do a lot of endurance racing, but I actually don't identify as an outdoorsy person. Like, I love cocktails. I live in Brooklyn. I
Yeah.
have a beautiful English bulldog, and I'm very comfortable and happy in my life here. I don't actually, there are plenty of people who like they love going
Yeah.
out and camping for the weekend. I actually don't. If you when you watch the show, you might get a different impression, but I promise you, in your mind, just remember that as you see me like struggling to make fire with flint and steel in the rain with no tent under just like a leaky painter's tarp for 2 months in the Alaskan wilderness.
Well, they'll be able to find it all. I'm going to make sure when we post this that we link to all your social media and websites through for Explorer Cold Brew, but also for you personally, so that because you're very good on social media and you've got all this out there.
Well, thank you.
And but no, mostly number one, I'm really appreciative you're able to just take a few moments of your time and share a bit of your story with our audience. And two, I'll let you know the next time when I go to an NGLCC New York event over the next couple of months, we might be able to run into each other.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I do like I do things other than like Iron Mans and stuff. Like I love theater and I have
Yeah,
other
yeah.
interests, and so maybe we can hang out not in an outdoorsy way here in the city next time.
I'd love that. But so much, it's so great to meet you, and thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, take care.
Feels good, so good.